I know a lot of b-boys, especially beginners, entered this one, right? Because they got hype after seeing Solidarity and everything. So just kind of want to pick y'all's brain and maybe see if y'all could give some advice to some of the b-boys out there, because we actually put some scores out for the prelims for the b-boys, and we saw some b-boys that scored low and everything, but it was internally as the break free team, we were kind of iffy on that because we didn't want to discourage people, basically, like, yo, like, I got the second worst score out of 200 something b-boys, right? But it's actually been the reverse. Like, people have been hype about it. They said, okay, like, I'm gonna come back harder next time. I'm gonna train harder, So maybe if we could start with maybe Zeku, maybe if you could give some advice to maybe the younger b-boys entering this.
Yeah, I want to touch upon the scores. I think the scores are a big deal, just because, I mean, for me personally, if I lose a competition or whatever the case may be, I like to know the reason why, because then it makes sense. It's transparent. I can be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I did lack on this, or I did undercut this part of my round, so it gives transparency, and that's always good for somebody who wants to improve. I think it would only offend someone who kind of wants to be just wants to put his or her mess ups to the side. If someone really wants to improve, I think it's
they're not really trying to grow if they're going to get mad about that.
Yeah, it's really beneficial. My advice would be to just be confident, stick to your guns, and just do what you got to do. It's a whole different game. You're not ciphering beforehand. You don't have a bunch of people. But you do have your family at home if you're at home with your family. And that's a big thing. I mean, Gravity showcased that in Solidarity, and that played a big role if you go back and you see it. So there's other things that you can use to help improve your performance if you feel like the environment isn't helping you. So I think everything has its pros and its cons, and this has given a more it's been oriented more around the core values of Break Free, which is the peace, love, unity, and having fun. So I think it's really dope the turn that this is taking. And just pure confidence and stick to your guns, man.
For sure. I like the word that Zeku used, confidence, right? And one thing when I think of confidence is, my boy Jeffro over here, man. He's been in the Houston scene for a minute, man. Like, and I've seen him grow since the beginning. I've battled him mad times.
Got robbed so many times.
Yeah, no, come on. No.
Confidence.
Here you go. That's the confidence.
A little bit of cocky in there.
You remember when we did the freestyle session 101?
Oh,
it was to somebody quit.
Yeah. That was a crazy concept.
That was a crazy concept, dude. I was like,
break free, have a
overwon that
type of concept.
No, but whenever the word confidence comes up, maybe if you could talk about like your journey from the beginning to winning the regional, Solidarity and everything, like just how important, like, taking your time and like not getting discouraged, like whenever you don't win your first couple battles you enter and everything.
Yeah, no, it was a different vibe. It was a different look on battling. Just because right before the competition, I looked at other live battles. I was like, all right, so what are they doing? What are they doing to stick out, or so that everybody's not doing the same and like waiting for the camera or the screen to get on them and they start dancing. So some things I would try to do is like stay close to the camera, vibe out, have them fill it out, play around with it, play around with your surroundings. And because I'm a fast dancer, I like to dance fast. But one thing I notice is if it's laggy, it's not gonna pick up everything. So I really had to change my whole approach. So I try to move slow so that everything is visible, So different things. If you're going fast, it's not gonna show as well. Go slow, play with your surrounding, use the whole spacing.
For sure.
There's a lot. It's just strategy.
Yeah, I think you made a good point though, because I think with online battles, it's starting to become more prevalent, especially with COVID-19 happening. Obviously, it's not what we want to happen, but I think that's a very good point, because I think every time we see somebody come up, it's like they're waiting for it and everything. But you're right. When I think back to your rounds, you were already like, you were already up. You were like, not to say you were like already breaking and everything, but you were pacing back and forth. You were getting ready for it and everything. So that's pretty good advice for anybody out there that's going to enter these online battles. You know what I'm saying? Just get into the groove. Don't be waiting for it. Just like a real battle. You know what I'm saying? So moving on to Gravity. I know Zeku made a good point as well too of having your family there and everything. For me, it was a beautiful thing to watch, man. Like, being in your own space, having your kids and your family there and everything. Not only your kids and family, but some of your students and everything too. So encapsulates to me what hip hop really means. Like you said, peace, love, unity, having fun. Not only that, but also you're spreading that too. You're not just keeping it for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you got other people that you're infecting with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so maybe if you could just talk about that a little bit, what it meant to you to win that in front of your family and everything.
You know, for me, like, it's really important that, like, my family. A lot of people like to keep their family separate, and then, you know, like, this is my home, and then I go do what I do, you know, and that's a really important aspect.
Yeah.
But for me, my family doesn't always get to see what I do and who I am when I travel. It literally is a different person, you know, and we talk about this all the time. Yeah. And I felt like this was the one moment where they can see me. Is this that moment that they can be there with me, actually on the line with me? That's what it felt like. You know what I'm saying? It's like literally they were on the line.
Usually
with
got
me.
These guys.
Yeah, usually I got these guys, and I was like, and I told them, I said, I need y'all with me, and honestly, I wasn't gonna do the online competition. The truth is, I really felt like there's no way I'm gonna be able to be, because I'm an energy person, right? I'm not the most technical b-boy or anything. Like, I gotta be like in the vibe. I do good in the midst of that energy. And I'm like, how the hell am I gonna perform? How am I gonna do this with no energy? And then my family was like, my girl, she was just like, we'll be there. Let's go.
Yeah,
like, you should be doing this right now. And she's like, it's Moy's event. You gotta be there. You gotta do this. I'm like, all right, bet. If you guys are there, I'm down. And so when we went and we were doing it, bro, I know you guys couldn't hear it. They were loud, bro. They were loud. My kids were yelling. Some of them could barely talk, and they were like, "Dada!" Yeah. You know, so it was like it was a really incredible moment. But I'm also not dumb, and I also know that it is a TV, and like people watching from a TV, and it's impossible to really know. It's like you ever be in a battle, and then you feel like, you know, like you won, and then you watch the battle, and you're like, I did okay. You know what I'm saying? That happens, you know? And so I knew that it was still going to be entertainment, and I knew that my family being there too was going to help people understand my energy. It was like my boost, you know what I'm saying? This is kind of like my package deal. This is what I come with regardless, you know? So they're the reason why I dance anyway, so it's good for everybody to see that.
Well, all three of y'all definitely repped at Solidarity, just like usual. For years, y'all been doing it, putting in the work. So, you know, nothing new there, man. I mean, the consistency has always been there for all three of y'all, man. So, kind of going back to the judges' scores, man. And this is the last thing we'll talk about. But one thing that we noticed whenever we were judging them is, you know, sometimes, you know, so take for instance the B-boys to the B-girls, right? Some of the B-girls were scoring higher than the some of the B-girls were scoring higher than the B-boys, just for the fact that, in my eyes, I felt like they cover more categories within breaking, right? They'll do a little bit of top rock, they'll do footwork, they'll do freezes, personality, you know, originality, all this stuff, you know. But sometimes B-boys, they always get caught in this, like, having tunnel vision, like, you know, like they'll be just doing footwork, and, you know, they'll do no freezes, or they'll just do power, and that's it, you know, and that's all. So, you know, for y'all, what would be like, what would be the strong points in those categories, as far as, like, you know, if you feel like you're just a footwork b-boy, like what can you do to excel in these type of competitions where they're judged, where it's like freezes, footwork, originality, you know, stuff like that? Like, how do you break out of that mode? Because for me, I always get asked questions like that, like, hey, how can I be more original? How can I do this? It's like, and it's kind of like a hard thing to say, like, but, you know, because when originality, it's like you got to find who you are, you got to find your personality, and that takes a while sometimes, right? So what would y'all say to, like, b-boys like that, like, you know, that they score high in footwork, but, you know, they're not really scoring high in anything else, you know? Do they just have to practice and train harder, like, at different things? Like, what do y'all think it is, you know?
To me, I feel like the b-boy or b-girl, I'm gonna just refer to them as breaker. The breaker who just does footwork, or the breaker who just does power, or the breaker who just likes to do tops, to me, you're just kind of capping out. You're finding a way to just do what you're good at. And that's not what it's about.
You're not getting uncomfortable at all.
Yeah,
you know?
Think about it like a sport, you know? Like, if you can just dribble, you can just dribble, and you're not going to be put to shoot the ball. Right? So when you look at people like LeBron or MJ or Stephen Curry, like, those guys are well-rounded players. They can do everything, and that's why they are who they are. So if you look to be a champion, you might like footwork, but that's because that's what you're good at.
Yeah, that's a good
Personally,
point.
for me, I started off just doing power, and I hated footwork because I was like, it's for old people. I'll do it when I remember saying that. I was like 12, like, I want to fly.
Yeah.
Because it came easy to me, and the footwork and creativity didn't.
Yeah.
And when I dove like head first into footwork and top rock, I fell in love with the dance as a whole. And that's what allowed me to expand and really start winning everything that I wanted to win, because it separated me, because the scene hasn't evolved to that yet. And now competitions and platforms like Break Free are forcing that, because on a competitive level, which is what we're at right now, and this is if you decide to do this, if you want to or if you don't, it's up to you. You don't have to take part in it, but if you do, you have to be ready to be a complete breaker, and not put to the side what you're not good at, because you might discover the love for it while doing it, which happened to me. So I think touching every single aspect of the dance is super important, especially if you consider yourself someone who loves the art. And if I love the art and the sport, I want to know and try everything about it. So I definitely suggest for everyone to just touch and dabble in every single aspect of the dance, because you never know what you're going to discover, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you to move forward with it in the competitive world.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, I think y'all got anything to add to it? Or?
Yeah, no, I agree with what Zeku was saying for the most part. But I do know for some that has limitations, whether it's weight, knee injury, whatever it may be. I do think there is a way. You know, there's a way you could be yourself. There's one time I was told footwork is power. You know, depending on how you do it, and you can add little freezes. Your footwork, you just stop halfway into a step and call it a freeze, or place your arm
for sure.
You know, so a freeze don't necessarily mean you have to be on your head. You have to be on your elbow. So you can play around with that concept and still make it known as a freeze. There's many like well-known b-boys, like let's say for example Intact. Footwork, killer footwork.
Powerful,
but he's still
it's like a power move.
And it's just footwork. So you can stand out with it. There's very few that actually just stick to it, but it's possible. It's
for
possible.
sure. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I think for just the way I came up though, it's like I was told that if you take one move, you gotta try to make 100 different moves out of that one move. That's literally how it came up, and of course it's very difficult to do something like that, right? But it gives you the mind state that I grew up in a generation of specialists, so it really just depends. Like the times have evolved, so now more people are more well-rounded, because that is where the competition world is headed. But I did grow up in the age of like, when you go out, this is what you do, and this is how we build strategies. And so I miss specialists, because the real specialists could take out well-rounded b-boys by it's crazy, like they would adapt their footwork into that, or they would adapt their power to mix with the footwork, and it would, in a way where you didn't need footwork, it just beat it because of how original that movement is. You know what I'm saying? So I just believe, depending on how original and how well and experienced you are, it don't matter how well-rounded or how special you could be, you can really take out anybody. So it's really about how well you know your style.
Yeah, definitely.
So for those people out there that aren't really scoring too high in certain areas, I say I do believe sometimes the scoring system may mess up people's minds on how they break.
Yeah, because it puts things in the box.
And it really sucks. So I say, and I say this to this day, like I've done scoring systems. I've competed with scoring systems, and I literally don't think about the scoring system at all. I just really will do my thing, because like I really believe, like if I know what I'm doing, if I truly know what I'm doing, either way it's going to be a W, or it's gonna. And if it's a L, then I have to figure out a way for them to notice exactly what I'm doing. So I just really believe, like, no matter who you are out there and what your skills are, if you're in a competitive world, even if there's a judging system, find a way to help the judges see your style and still tag all those elements. Because if there's like, let's just say foundation doesn't mean footwork. Foundation just means the fundamentals of the dance, which power and flips is in that too, right? So it's like how we really showcase our movements is really important. It's the experience.
I think really also that's kind of like how you're saying. Also, if you don't like the judging system, we're in a in an era of innovation. Make your own judging system.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, or help a system grow.
If you can back it,
or if you got valid points, like let the people know, like, hey man, like this is what I think about
exactly.
it.
It's not just go out and create one, and then when people go, okay, but how does it work? How is it fair for everybody? And then you don't have how it caters to a power head, how it caters to a footwork head. Then it doesn't make sense. But in the era of innovation in 2020, when we have everything right here, like, go out and create your own judging system.
Yeah.
You might
forget how young our culture is still.
And people forget.
It's super young.
We're so new.
Yeah.
We're still learning. Like we're talking about judging systems are being implemented now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, and it's not like the NBA. You make a bucket, it goes in. You can't deny whether that's a point or not.
Yeah, we
in
don't
fighting,
have
you knock somebody out. You can't say, oh, but it was no. The dude's sleeping. You can't deny it.
Yeah.
But with what we do, there's still a lot of room for uncertainty. So I think that being innovative in the way you break is a big thing, but also innovative in the way that we can evolve the culture. Doesn't matter if you're breaking as long as gravity or you're as young as 21 years old. Be innovative because we need it right now.
Yeah,
we need it. We need it.
And B-boys and B-girls should also remember, like, the judging system is not for us.
Yeah,
it's for the viewer to understand what is happening. You know what I'm saying? So just remember, like, for anybody competing, especially in the worldwide competition this week, starting tomorrow, or today or whatever, whenever we air this, but it's important to know, like, man, you guys are part of something big. Go hard, go in. You have, you know, like, the judges are gonna know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, but just understand the judging system is not for you. It's for the viewer to truly understand, so that they can see transparency. When they see the brackets, people are like, I wonder how they made these brackets. Well, go look at the scores from prelims. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and okay, this is how they were ranked. Okay, this is why they were put this way. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's really just transparency, so that we can be on a professional level, so that the outside world could finally, for once, be like, oh, that's not, you don't need cardboard for that. You know, that they finally understand what's up with this.
So we were saying a lot of words like creating, you know, originality, foundation, all this stuff that we're saying that you have to excel at, right? But I think the foundation to all that goes back to a word that we said earlier, was confidence, right? Even if you are a beginner, just be confident in what you do. If you know, you're an experienced veteran in this thing, like, you know, I'm sure y'all seen it before too. We see somebody that we love, but like, you could see that, like, okay, they're not feeling it, or they're not confident right now. Yeah, they just don't have it, you know. So that would be my advice to everybody out there too, as well. Just be confident in who you are. If you're not to where you want to be at, just know that you got the time, and then that you got the willpower to get to where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? So that was it for us. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We got the championships coming up, so y'all tune in. It's gonna be really, really dope, really fresh. Go to All Break Free worldwide, social media, the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff, and we'll keep you connected. Peace.